All our lives, we've been told to go to school, get good grades, get a good job, and you'll be set. How's that working out for you? I'm TaVona Denise, physical therapist turned life and business coach, and I'm on a mission to help you create a life you love and a business on your terms. If you want more time, more freedom, more flexibility, I can help you create it. Welcome to Breaking Protocol, the show for women in healthcare who want more. Last week, we talked about how to do thought work. And the week before that, I broke down all of my numbers for you. And I broke down the mindset that I had as I was transitioning my business from 40K in 1 year to 140K. And I did that so that you could see exactly what I did, but more importantly, what I thought as I was taking action. And it was or is my hope that you would use that as an inspiration, motivation to normalize it in your mind and help you to see that you can do it too. Not as a form of compare and despair, but like, oh, I see it's possible and I can do it too. And so then I figured, okay, I better teach you or talk to you about thought work. Like I'm talking about that as a critical piece and a big difference between 40K to 140K. So we talked about that last week. And then I thought, oh my goodness, I missed a piece because somewhere in there, I discovered how to have more confidence. Like sometimes we, and myself included, take things for granted that we just say, oh, it's my personality, or, oh, I've always been that way. And maybe that's true, but maybe it's also possible that this personality trait can be taught or can be learned or can be cultivated. And so I wanted to share with you a concept that I came up with called the confidence loop. Because even though I have a certain level of confidence in certain things that I'm doing in my business now, I didn't always have that level of confidence. And so when I went back and I was thinking about it, and I was thinking about my clients, and I was thinking about so many of the women that I've been on these momentum consults with, that they see part of it for themselves and they're just like, but I'm not confident, or I just need to do more research, or I need more certifications. And even if they don't say it outright, I think that that's code for, I'm not really confident that I can do this. I think that I need to learn more or know more or do more just to get to the starting line. And I think it's a travesty because we think that we need to have confidence to get started. We think that we need to have confidence to make money. And it's simply not the case. So when I realized, and I was thinking about all of this and how did I get to this place, I realized that I really think that I figured out the secret to the universe and having anything you want, like creating any goal that you can think of in your life. But in our purposes, we're going to talk about business today. So it's so important that you understand this concept of the confident loop. And for many of my clients that have really embodied this and taken this on, it just helps you to calm the F down so that you can tap into your own wisdom, your own intuition, and more importantly, just keep going until you get the result you want. So I'm also going to post a diagram of the confidence loop in the show notes so that you, if you're more of a visual person like me, you can actually see it, but just hang in there with me for a minute as I explain it to you. And I think it's going to make a lot of sense. And as I'm talking about it, think about other areas in your life where you're super confident right now, but at one point, let's be honest, you probably weren't super confident. So here's how the confidence loop works. We start off always in a place of discomfort. And discomfort is this place that causes us to desire something new or something more or something different than we already have. So we have, in my case, I was really good at what I did as a therapist, but I wanted to help more people in a different way. I wanted to do coaching, which was something new, right? I wanted to be able to help more people. So I was no longer in my comfort of being an established, experienced PT. The challenge is some people get stuck there, just being uncomfortable. And they're like, I'm uncomfortable, but I'm not willing to do anything about it. So that's where some people get stuck. The next part of the confidence loop is when we get to the place where we've decided that we're going to make a commitment to change. So we've gone from discomfort to making a commitment. Like, okay, I am going to insert whatever the goal is. In our case, it is I'm going to start a business, or I'm going to scale my business, or I'm going to whatever, right? You could even put weight in there. I'm going to lose weight. Like, I'm actually going to do it. I'm not going to be uncomfortable in my jeans or my clothes or whatever. I'm going to do it. Or I'm going to start dating. I'm not going to sit around and hope and wish and pray for a mate. I'm going to actually get out there and do something. And this part is really, really important in the process of gaining confidence, because it's more than just a wish. It's more than just, I'm going to try, I would like to, I'm hoping to, that kind of thing. It's the point where we actually have decided that we're going to do something about it. And that's also another part where people get stuck, because this is also the place where the freak out occurs. So it's one thing to be uncomfortable and say, oh, I hate my job, I want to leave, I want to start a business. But then there's another thing to be on a consult, to be at a point where you need to sign up for a class, or you need to reach out and tell somebody what your new title is. You need to reach out and make an offer to somebody. That's where the freak out occurs. Like, I don't know what I'm doing. Is this for real? I'm going to have to change. It's going to be painful. It's going to be terrible. Like, in this space, the brain offers so many reasons why this is a terrible idea. We should just stay here in the discomfort of the comfort zone. And I think this is an important part that people don't give a lot of credence to, because this is where the mindset work comes in. This is where the thought work that we talked about last week comes in. When you build a business, and I don't know where I heard this, somewhere I heard, like, being an entrepreneur, building a business is the most intense personal development course you'll ever take. And I'm like, man, that is so true. I had no idea how many thoughts and beliefs that I had that were keeping me in the employee space. Like, even though I was a contractor, even though I was responsible for a lot of it myself, it's still that mentality in that space. So as you decide, like, as you actually make the commitment to do something, your brain is going to, it's a natural part of it. Your brain's going to say, hey, no, let's stay here in the safety. We know what this is like. We can't risk putting out money that we don't have, or we can't risk going into debt. We can't risk that because we don't actually know what's going to happen over there. So it's okay to let your brain have its say. And this is one of the things that I've been working with my clients in the Courage Circle right now, is because if you are a positive thinker, and if you have been doing personal development work for a while, your brain wants to go to all of the beautiful, pretty reasons why it is possible, without paying attention to what your brain's offering you in terms of why it's not possible, why we shouldn't do that, why that's a terrible idea. If this is you and you're like, oh, but I can totally see how it's possible that I can do that, but you're also not taking action, and or you're also not getting results, there are probably some sneaky thoughts in there that you haven't discovered, that you haven't uncovered, that you haven't really examined. Okay. So in order to keep making progress, when we find ourselves in the freak out, we have to invoke courage. And for me, courage is feeling the fear and taking action anyway. Feeling the fear and taking action anyway. This is a third sticking point for people when they go for their goals, because this is massively uncomfortable. And this is the place where I call the gauntlet. It is where you really have to learn to manage your mind and examine your thoughts and decide if these thoughts are going to help you get to the goal, or do you need to come up with new thoughts? And if you think about a gauntlet, it's just like really being beat up in there. And so we have to, at that point, go for consistency, repeated action over time. So if it takes courage to take the first step, then you need consistency to keep on stepping. And many people don't get out of the gauntlet because they're either unable or unwilling to manage their mind or be with the discomfort long enough to gain clarity about what they need to do and what works, and then competency in terms of how to do the thing. So even if you do take the first step, say you decide to work with a coach, or you go to sign up for a course, or decide to create a course, or maybe you offer it to one person, then it's like, oh my goodness, I offered it to one person, or I offered it to 10 people and they said no, but that was just the courage to take the first step. Then you have to be consistent. And here's another place where some people get themselves caught up is they want to know what to do and how to do it before actually doing it. And I've been stuck there too, right? Like I want somebody else, I want to abdicate my responsibility to somebody else. Just tell me what to do. I'll do all of the things. I'll check all of the boxes. Just tell me what to do. And the challenge with that is really twofold, because you are strengthening their brain, their ability to problem solve when you ask them, what do I do? And we talk about this all the time. Like, this is an experiment. There is no one way to build a successful business. So if you are asking them what to do, they can give you, and I can give you our best educated guess, but you still then have to go out and test it in your environment, with your personality, with your people, and all the things. And so this is the reason why it is important to learn how to do the thought work and manage your mind, so that you can get yourself through the gauntlet and you are at a place where you are consistently taking action, testing, failing, starting over again. And you get to that place where you have clarity and competence, clarity about what to do and competence in terms of how to do it. Only then does the confidence come. Because think about this, when you get to a place where you know what to do and you know how to do it, 9.5 or more times out of 10, you're pretty confident in that area. But it doesn't come before being consistent and doing the things and doing them wrong or doing them half right, and getting data and feedback and saying, oh, okay, this is how I could do this better. Or maybe this works in this situation, but not in that situation, or with this kind of person, but not that kind of person. And so we've seen it in our work with our patients, from the time when we were a student to the time when we were actually a licensed practitioner, from the time when we were a new grad to the time where we had 5-6 years under our belt. It's right in the confidence loop. Think about that. The discomfort of, okay, I want to have this career, to the courage to, I'm going to sign up, I'm going to enroll, I'm going to get the student loan, to, okay, I'm freaked out, the professor's calling on me, or they want me to go take this patient's blood pressure or do this assessment, and I have no idea what I'm doing. But they force the consistency in school. They force the consistency in jobs. All right. So in school, the teacher is going to keep calling on you. The CI, the clinical instructor, or whomever is going to keep calling on you. But in your business, you have to keep calling on you. And you have to keep going through the discomfort. And that's a challenging thing for those of us who want to be our own boss and make the rules, right? Because you also have to keep yourself accountable, and you also have to be disciplined, and you also have to go through the discomfort, even with the jobs. Like, I remember just being terrified, thinking I didn't know what I was doing on the evaluations, but the patients kept coming. So I figured it out pretty quick. With business, you have to learn a number of skills. You have to learn how to keep putting yourself out there and get the consults and figure out the things until you can get to your clients. And the interesting thing about this, between the place from consistency to confidence, is actually where your identity changes. If you think about that, when you were a student and you were in the gauntlet and you had to make the commitment and you had to have the courage and the consistency, you were still kind of, I don't know, I'm still a student. But then when you get to the place of clarity and competence and confidence, that's when your identity changes. Like, oh no, for real. I'm the real deal now. And so the interesting thing is people want to have the confidence to take the action, but you have to take the action to figure out what to do to have the confidence. And so the confidence doesn't come without evoking courage first. And that might be good or bad news, right? Because the good news is if you can figure out what part of the confidence loop you're in, you can just calm down and be like, oh, okay, nothing's gone wrong here. I just need to keep going. I'm just in the gauntlet, just haven't been consistent enough. Or maybe I just haven't really made a commitment. I really haven't made a decision to do something. Or maybe I decided, but I haven't used some courage so I could take the first step. And that's a beautiful thing, because you can see where you are and what you need to do. And so that's what I have for you today. I think it's such a beautiful thing to know that if you just keep going, you will eventually reach the confidence. But the confidence can't come until you invoke courage. So I invite you to apply for the next round of the Courage Circle. If that's you, you can just go to TaVonaDenise.com/apply, and we will review your application and let you know the next steps. Until next time, friend.